Okay, so hi peeps, Tersse. Tersse here. I'm going to be doing like a sort of like political kind of thing. Oh, hold on. Have I? Hold on. Fuck me. Okay, and probably I'm not streaming Cyberpunk. Fuck edit. I want to change that to. Streaming. Right, jump. Going crazy. Okay. Treasonous. Being treasonous. I think that's pretty much what's going on. Public, save, okay. Okay. I just want to renew everything. Right. Okay. So category not game. Fuck. Category. Can I change the fucking category? Category. Politics. News and politics, right. Okay. Right. News and politics. Rewind that again. Sorry guys, it's taking a wee bit of time to get that. I'm sure a lot of people have already seen all this stuff, right? You have already seen this ridiculous piece of shit crap that's going on with Trump. So anyway, okay, so Donald Trump made this ridiculous phone call to the Georgia people in Georgia, all the heads of state and all that, the governor, the fucking AG and all that. I think it's on the right. Anyway, Donald Trump, he's gone crazy, right? Don't know what's going on with this guy. He just won't fucking settle down and say like, okay, it's over. I better fucking make my way and move on. No, he wants to fucking. Not only is he attacking with Democrats and all that, right, but he's attacking all the Republicans. Everybody's against him, It's like the guy is a psychotic, fucking paranoid delusionist, I don't know what's going on with the fucker, right? He's always been crazy. I mean, I've been saying it for fucking 4 years. Trump's a fucking delusional fucking lunatic, and America should already know by now that they made a fucking huge mistake electing him. Sorry for the noise. I'm rolling a cigarette. Some Americans are just too dumb, and too programmed, and too fucking brainwashed, and too hateful of other people in their own fucking society. Too hateful of their neighbours to fucking gee up on this guy. Doesn't matter what he does, how bad he performs, how fucked and retarded the guy is, it doesn't fucking matter. There's some people too stupid in America to fucking just grow up and realise they made a mistake and move on. Doubling down, It's like people in poker when they fucking lose a hand or two and then they go on tilt. Half of America is on tilt at the moment, man, and I just don't get it. Fuck me. Anyway, so let's listen to what Donald Trump has got to say about Georgia and its election, and we'll break it down.
Everybody is on the line, and just so this is Mark, that is the Chief of Staff, just so we all are aware. On the line is Secretary of State and two other individuals, Jordan and Mr. Germany. With him, you also have the attorneys that represent the president, Kurt and Alex, and Cleta Mitchell, who is not the attorney of record but has been involved, myself, and then the president. So, Mr. President, I'll turn it over to you.
So it seems
thank you very much. Hello, Brad and Ryan and everybody.
So it seems like there's about 8 or 10 people plus the president on the call. A couple of them are these lawyers. There's 2 other people that the guy says 2 other people. There's a couple of like people from the Georgia state. One of them's a lawyer. The other guy's something to do with like the elections in Georgia and stuff like that. They're lawyers as well, Georgia lawyers and stuff. And so let's see what happens now. The president's going in he's going to give you an introduction to what he thinks went on in the 2020 election. So let's hear what Donald Trump thinks went on and hear all his evidence, right, about why he won.
We appreciate the time and the call. So we've spent a lot of time on this, and if we could just go over some of the numbers, I think it's pretty clear that we won. We won very substantially, Georgia.
This is the thing as well. He keeps going about numbers, and he's going to spout a lot of numbers, right? None of them make any sense. And there's no evidence for any of these numbers. He's just telling you numbers that other people told him, but there's no evidence. They've been in court fucking umpteen times, right? They've had 3 fucking recounts. One of them a paper recount in Georgia. None of these fucking figures add up. None of them. And he keeps saying, we've got these numbers, certified numbers, he keeps saying, but there's no certified numbers for him. He's been to court umpteen times. They've never brought any evidence about any of these numbers. Let's go.
You even see it by rally size, frankly, would be getting 20.
You remember when people say the media, when Fox News called it, and they say the media don't call an election. The media don't call it. No, he's what the bookies call an election. The rallies calling it. Well, I had more people at my rally. You know what I mean? 20,000 people at a rally. Yeah, millions of people voted. We're up into the fucking 80 odd million for fucking Democrats, 78 million, 77 million for fucking Trump. Right, so 20,000 people at a rally means nothing. So what the fuck is he on about? Why is he going on about, my rallies were big? Yeah, they were big. 20,000 people in a rally. It's not enough to win a state.
30,000 people a rally, and the competition would get less than 100 people, and it never made sense. But we have a number of things.
I'm just got to say, yeah, all the people that came to your rally were all unemployed fucking Republicans. And all the people that went to the fucking Democrats' rallies were employed fucking Democrats, you know what I mean? So they couldn't turn up. They all had to be at work. So if they're at work, they're not at a rally. Or you're fucking lame ass fucking, caravan fucking living. I don't know, you don't call them caravans in America, do you? Trailer fucking park trash. Who don't have a fucking job, right? They can all fucking turn up with their flags and their fucking hats and shit, you know what I mean? But people who have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to fucking pay the rent, feed their kids, they don't have time to turn up at a rally. So the Democrats didn't have people turning up. But all your lame ass fucking motherfuckers living off the state, they all turned up, you know what I mean? So you had 20,000 fucking lame ass fuckers leeching off the fucking society. And the Democrats, all the working people were all at work and couldn't turn up at the rally. That's why your rallies were big. Full of lame ass fucking motherfucking lazy bastards that didn't have a job, but believed you were going to bring jobs back. Worst present for jobs in the world.
At least 2 or 3, anywhere from 250 to 300,000 ballots were dropped mysteriously into the road.
Okay, so he says anywhere between 250 to 300,000 ballots were dropped into your room. Prove it. Get it on film. Get pictures. Get somebody to step forward and prove, give it evidence and give evidence in court. You've been to court over this several times. And every time you get into court, it's not about fraud. It's not about dumping ballots. It's always about, oh, we're counting too many ballots. We want to stop you counting these ballots. So, what's he want about all these dumps, these big dumps? Yeah. Something's been dumped in his brain, man.
Rolls. Much of that had to do with Fulton County, which hasn't been checked. We think that if you check the signatures, a real check of the signatures going back.
Every single ballot that comes in has got a signature on it. Every single person that votes in person has to prove their ID. I mean, the Republicans put this in place. You have to have fucking at least 2 forms of fucking ID just to turn up and vote, you know. So, what's he on about all these people voting that you couldn't tell and dumps of votes with no signatures? Every one of these has got a signature on it. And they did a fucking hand count, like, I don't know.
In Fulton County, you'll find at least a couple of 100,000 of forged signatures of
forged signature. That's fraud. You've been in court umpteen fucking times. Where's your evidence? He's never brought him, his lawyers, they've brought up loads of fucking cases at the court, never brought a single piece of evidence. In fact, Rudy Giuliani, when asked by a fucking judge, says, this is not a fraud case. So what the fuck is he on about now? He's still going on about this fraud, fake fucking signatures, fake ballots, not a single piece of evidence other than you'll hear it later.
Of people with who have been forged, and we are quite sure that's going to happen. Another tremendous number. We're going to have an accurate number over the
tremendous number, another accurate number. I mean, can this guy just fucking spit it out? What is he trying to say?
The next 2 days with certified accountants, but an accurate number.
Wait, certified accountants? I don't remember accountants being involved in the electoral process. What's he on about?
Will be given, but it's in the 50s of thousands, and that's people that went.
The 50s of thousands, and that's people that went where?
To vote, and they were told they can't vote because they've already been voted for.
Some people got a mail-in ballot and then went and tried to vote again because your people at the time were telling people to do that. And they were told, you've already voted, you can't vote. So there you go. This is what happens when you try to fucking cheat. People get caught because people in the fucking electoral fucking system understand this. When you've already mailed something in, your name gets taken off, ticked off. So when you turn up, there's a line through you that you've already voted. You know what I mean? And they were upset they couldn't vote twice because you were telling them to vote twice, Mr. President, weren't you? I remember that.
And it's a very sad thing. They walked out complaining, but the number is large. We'll have it for you, but it's much more than the number of 11,779. That's the current margin is only 11,779.
You're going to hear that number over and over and over again. He seems to be fixated on this.
Brad, I think you agree with that, right? That's something I think everyone, at least that's a number that everyone agrees on. But that's the difference in the votes. But we've had hundreds of thousands of ballots that we're able to actually. We'll get you a pretty accurate number. You know.
What's he trying to say? With over 100 or hundreds of thousands, pretty accurate number, we're going to prove that to you at some stage. Well, give us the fucking evidence now. You've had fucking over a month, man, to produce this fucking evidence in court. And now, you're just getting to it now. You've been talking about it for a month, that you had all this evidence, you know what I mean? Just fucking provide it. Go into court and provide it.
You don't need much of a number because the number that, in theory, I lost by the margin would be 11,779. But you also have substantial numbers of people, thousands and thousands, who went to the voting place on November 3rd, were told they couldn't vote. Because
yeah, you've said that already, but where's the evidence that this happened?
Because a ballot had been put in on their name. and that's.
He's talking about 50s, 10s and 50s, 50,000 people who tried to vote and couldn't vote, and they ended up with like 50 people who wrote a fucking an affidavit, and then when they get into court, they didn't turn up or didn't say that that's what they meant in the affidavit. They wrote it wrong. They were thrown into court because none of them. Where's this tens or 50s of thousands of people who didn't get to vote? Where did that? Yeah, because they don't like going to court and say, "Oh, I didn't get my vote," because they fucking sent in a mail-in vote and then tried to vote a second time, and they don't like to go into court and fucking claim that they never voted and they were voting for the first time when they turned up, and then have the fucking paper pulled out with their signature on it. Right? He's on about no check the signature. The signatures are on the fucking votes.
Very, 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 very sad. We had. I believe it's about 4,502 voters who voted, but who weren't on the voter registration list. So
that's not true either. People in America are free to move from one state to another, and they're free to move back to the state that they originate from and register to vote and then vote. The fact that it's registered that they moved, registered in another state, and then moved back and registered in their original state. Well, where did they vote? Did they vote in two states? No, they only voted in one state. This has all been checked, right? So he's talking shit again.
4,502 who voted, but they were not on the voter registration roll, which they had to be.
No, if you're not on the voter register roll, you can't vote. When you go in and say, here's my ID and I want to vote, they go, okay, what's your zip code? And they look your name up and that. No, you're not on the register, you can't vote. There's no point in saying 4,000 odd people not on the register voted. You can't vote if you're not on the register. You can put in, I can't remember the name here. You can say, well, no, I do live here, and I'm on it, but I want to put in, a vote that gets checked and counted later. I think he mentions them later.
You had 18,325 vacant address voters. The address was vacant.
No, that's not true either. You can't vote without an address. You can't even be on the voter roll without an address. You can't do it with just a P.O. box. So this is all shite as well.
And they're not allowed to be counted. That's 18,325. Smaller number, you had 904 who only voted where they had just a PO, a post office box number. And they had a post office box number, and that's not allowed.
I don't believe you can vote in America just from a post office box. I think you actually you need to have an address. I think it's the same to claim welfare, unemployment insurance and all that shit, right? You need to have a solid address, otherwise you're homeless. And homeless people, I think, can't claim. They can't claim in Britain, so I imagine they can't claim in fucking America. So
allowed. We had at least 18,000. That's on tape. We had them counted.
We had them. Who had them counted? You counted 18,000 votes. Where? Where's the evidence? Why haven't you taken it into court?
Mistakenly, 18,000 voters having to do with Ruby Freeman. She's a vote scammer.
That's defamatory as well. He's defaming a person in name. The President of America is defaming somebody in name. Perjury. Not perjury, what do you call it? Defamation. Defamation of character. He shouldn't be able to get away with that. If somebody was to come out and say that he's a paedophile, I'm sure they would get pulled for it,
A professional vote scammer and hustler, Ruby Freeman. That is...
Evidence, citations, evidence. I mean, where does Ruby Tuesday, whatever her name is, how do you know she's a scammer and a vote frauder? Where's the evidence for that? Please provide it, put it into court, and then we can maybe check up on the work she did for the electoral service. I don't know. But, provide evidence. Otherwise, she's just another person who works in the electoral office,
that was the tape that's been shown all over the world that makes everybody look bad. You, me, and everybody else. Where they got number one, they said very clearly, and it's been reported that they said there was a major water main break. Everybody fled the area, and then they came back. Ruby Friedman, her daughter, and a few people. There was no Republican poll watchers. Actually,
evidence. Can we have some citations, some photographic evidence, a video of it? I mean, that place, if it wasn't flooded, the electrics were still on, the lights were still on, the cameras were still rolling, even if there was nobody there. I'm sure that somebody could go back and review the footage. Evidence. Please provide evidence, and not just you telling us what people said on Facebook or Twitter or fucking some other social media, that you watch, Fox News. But, yeah, people can say anything. You shouldn't convict anybody on just what people say. You need to be able to provide evidence that a court will accept, right?
There were no Democrat poll watchers. I guess they were them. But there were no Democrats either, and there was no law enforcement. Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe,
Okay, so late in the evening, early in the morning. When was it? Was it late in the evening? Was it late in the morning? Was it early in the morning? Can the guy get his story straight, man? Is he drunk? Is he on pills? I mean, what is going on with him? He can't just say the right thing. He's always making, let's just say it's any time through the day, sometime during the day this happened, you know what I mean?
Shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes were put there a number of hours before. The table was put there. I think it was, Brad, you would know, it was probably 8 hours or 7 hours before, and then it was stuffed with votes. They weren't in an official voter box.
There weren't evidence? Have you got photographic evidence that they went in and pulled something out from a table with a black cloth on it, and they weren't real voter boxes? So, I mean, what you're saying, if you get evidence for this, you're telling me, but you know what, I don't trust you. I do not trust you, Mr. President. So, provide evidence, photograph, video, please.
They were in what looked to be suitcases or trunks, suitcases, but they were.
All right, so there's video of it then. If you've seen it, looked to me that was suitcases. Okay, I know what a suitcase is like. We all know what a suitcase is like. Show us the fucking video.
Weren't in voter boxes. The minimum number it could be, because we watched it and they watched it certified in slow motion, instant replay, if you can believe it. But it had slow motion and it was magnified many times.
Yeah. They watched it in slow motion and magnified it, so you couldn't tell if it was actually the room you were looking at or whether it was just somebody in any room showing you a suitcase. So if you zoomed in on a thing, there's no context to what you're seeing. Even if you're seeing like a suitcase being opened on a table, unless you zoom out and show the room that's been done and the people doing it, and then zoom back in, you know what I mean? Show us the evidence, Mr. President. Show us it.
Times over. And the minimum it was 18,000 ballots, all for Biden. You had out of...
How did he know it was 18,000 ballots, all for Biden? But did they lift them out one at a time? And they were able to take a picture of every single ballot, 18,000 of them, all for Biden. How does he know this? We need evidence. We need you to prove to us why you know this stuff and take it to court, and then you can fight. You can fight it.
State voters, they voted in Georgia, but they were from out of state. Of 4,925. You had absentee ballot sent to vacant. They were absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses.
Really?
They had nothing on them about addresses. That's 2,326.
There's nothing on them about addresses. I don't know what that means.
And you had drop boxes, which was very bad. You had drop boxes that were picked up. We have photographs and...
I mean, drop boxes in the state was one of the things that was important for people to be able to post their mail-in ballots, wasn't it? You know, you can go and hand it into your electoral, place where you could post it in the mail, or you could put it in a drop box. I mean, I think this has been a normal thing in America for decades. So why is he saying it's a bad thing that there's drop boxes and people are picking them up and delivering them? Because I think that's what drop boxes are for. So he's upset that people are using drop boxes. Why? Why is it a bad thing?
We have affidavits from many people. I don't know if you saw the hearings, but you have drop boxes where the box was picked up and not delivered for 3 days. So all sorts of things.
Evidence? Would we get any evidence of that? Drop boxes being picked up and not delivered for 3 days? I don't know any of that going on.
Things could have happened to that box, including, putting in the votes that you wanted.
Yeah, and it could have been Republicans putting Republican votes in. So what's your point? If unless you get evidence for what's happened to the drop box and there's no evidence, you can't just say a thing could have happened and then say it did happen. You need to provide evidence that a thing happened.
So there are many infractions, and
No, there's many claimed infractions, but there's no evidence for any of these infractions. Again, you can't just say a thing and expect people to believe it. You've got to provide evidence that a thing happened. You can't just say it like he does, this fucking retard. And 47% of the fucking country in America just believes him because he's their asshole.
Bottom line, it's many, many times the 11,779 margin that they said we lost by. We had the state is in turmoil.
The state's not in turmoil. The White House is in fucking turmoil. The Republican Party is in turmoil. America as a whole is in turmoil because of the coronavirus. But the states themselves are, as far as the election goes, it went pretty smooth and went the way that we expected it to go. Not surprising that you're upset because it didn't go your way, but
over this, and I know you would like to get to the bottom of it, although I saw you on television today and you said that you found nothing wrong. I mean, I didn't lose the state for it.
Yeah. The reason they say it's not went wrong is because they've already investigated it 3 times. There were 2 fucking recounts and a manual fucking paper count, and it all comes out okay. Very close to the same numbers. They occasionally find 29 fucking votes or 59 votes missed here or there. But that's about it.
People have been saying that it was the highest vote ever. There was no way. A lot of the...
Yeah, the highest vote ever for the whole fucking country. You got 75 million votes, and Biden got fucking 82 or 84 million votes, right? It's like, yeah, you had a fucking huge vote. But so did Biden, and his vote was bigger than yours. Prove that there was fraud, or shut the fuck up.
The political people said that there's no way they beat me, and they beat me. They.
What political people? People are saying, people are saying this, people are saying that. What people? He never ever tells you who the people are.
Yeah, beat me in the poll. As you know, every single state, we won every state house in the country.
No, you didn't win every state house. If you did, you would be a fucking, how many fucking college electoral votes is there? You would have all of them. And Biden would have none if you'd have won all the states. So you didn't win all the states, right? You won some, and you lost some. You can't even say we won more states. He said we won all the states.
Country. We held the Senate, which is shocking to people, although we'll see what happens tomorrow in a few days. And we won the House.
Yeah, Tuesday is, I think Tuesday's the election in Georgia for the 2 Senate votes, which, if they go for the Democrats, actually puts the House 50-50, I believe, or 48-48 or something like 49-49. I think there's like 2 or 4 outstanding Senate seats that haven't run or haven't been elected this year or something. I don't know, special elections maybe coming up for them or something like that. But I don't think there's 11. I don't think there's 100 Senate seats being elected yet. I think it's close, but I think it's going to be like 49, and then there's some more outstanding, and that means that Kamala Harris is going to be the deciding vote. He's pissed off about that, but that could be what happens on Tuesday. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the Senate's still going to be held by a vote or two by the Republicans, but well, the Republicans, they've got it all fixed. And the Democrats have done nothing about it in 30 years. Watch them steal and gerrymander and all that, and the Democrats done nothing about it.
But we won every single state house, and we won Congress, which was supposed to lose 15 seats, and they gained, I think, 16 or 17 or something.
I don't think Trump knows anything about America. I'm British, right? I lived in Scotland. I know they didn't win every state house. Some of the state houses are owned or run by, predominantly Democrats, you know what I mean? In some states, not all states, but there's a few states that are blue, that are Democrat run. And I think they took a few extra House and Senate seats in some places around America. So, the federal House and Senate, well, the Democrats just held on to the House, and they might by Tuesday win 2 seats, gain them like a 50-50 kind of thing in the Senate. But I don't know. We'll see what happens there.
Something. I think there's now a difference of 5. There was supposed to be a difference substantially more. But politicians in every state, but politicians in Georgia have given affidavits and are going to that there was no way they beat me in the election, that the people came out. In fact, they were expecting to lose, and they ended up winning by a lot because of the coattails. And they said there's no way that they've done many polls prior to the election. There was no way that they won. Ballots were dropped in massive numbers, and we're trying to get to those numbers, and we will have them. They'll take a period of time, certified. But they're massive numbers, and far greater than the election.
The numbers have already been counted and certified. I don't know what you're talking about. We're going to get those numbers in a few days certified, and it's going to change everything. No, there's nowhere still counting. The election is over. 3rd November. Right? 3rd December. 3rd January. It's nearly 2 months. 2 fucking months. Right? 8 weeks. 8 weeks ago. You know what I mean? 7 weeks ago. 7 weeks ago we had the election. It's certified and fucking... I don't know what he's going on about.
11,779. The other thing, dead people. So dead people voted, and
Yeah, this is a good news. It keeps going about dead people. I think in Georgia they recorded like 2 or 3 or 4 fucking dead people, and actually the dead people that voted, I think there's 5 or 7 or something like that, but they've got all the way down to just 2 people who actually fraudulently voted, and they both voted for fucking Trump. All the other ones were all like mistaken identity, like a woman who voted using her husband's name. Yeah, because she all through her married life, she called herself Mrs. John Smith or whatever, right? So that was the name she always used. So when she voted, they took the John Smith. John Smith is dead, yeah, but she's a surviving widow, and she's always used the Mrs. John Smith, which is a thing you can do. It's legal, you know what I mean? And that was one of the things that they picked on and says it was a dead person. It wasn't. It was a surviving widow of a dead man who used his name, as her nom de plume.
I think the number is in the close to 5,000 people, and they went to obituaries. They went to all sorts of methods to come up with an accurate.
They went to all these methods, bring them into court, prove your point.
Number, and a minimum is close to about 5,000 voters. The bottom line is when you add it all up, and then you start adding, 300,000 fake ballots. Then the other thing they said is in Fulton County and other areas, and this may or may not be true, this just came up this morning, that they are burning their ballots, that they are shredding shredding ballots and removing equipment?
Evidence? I don't see any evidence for MD shredding ballots or burning ballots or anything like that. Every one of these things has been debunked. It's all fake. I don't know who the president is listening to, but he needs to stop listening to conspiracy theorists, especially if they don't provide him with any evidence to prove what they're telling him. He just wants to believe it, and he knows spouting numbers and saying things that he's got no evidence for. Otherwise, they've been in court and won some court cases, but they're not winning any court cases because they have no goddamn evidence.
They're changing the equipment on the Dominion machines, and then that's not legal. And they supposedly shredded, I think they said 3,000 pounds of ballots, and that just came to us as a report today. And it's.
How do you know it was 3,000 pounds and not 3,200 pounds, or 2,300 pounds? Or 4,000 pounds. How do you know about 3,000? Did you weigh them? Did somebody sit there and weigh the ballots they were going to shred and burn? Are they just pulling a number with their ass because they've not shown any evidence to a single court that any fucking ballot was shredded or burnt? Any legitimate, ballot that should have been counted was shredded or burnt. There's just absolutely no evidence for it,
It's a very sad situation. But Brad, if you took the minimum numbers were many times above the 11,779, and many of those numbers are certified, or they will be certified, but they are certified. Those are numbers that are there, that exist, and that beat the margin of loss. They beat it, by a lot. And people should be happy to have an accurate count instead of an election where there's turmoil. There's turmoil in Georgia and other places. You're not the only one. We have other states that I believe will be flipping to us very shortly. And but this is something that's
This man is delusional. How are states going to flip to him when he's got he's got 18 days? 18 days till fucking inauguration, and he thinks he's going to flip states that have already stopped counting and already verified their numbers. Everything else from between here and the 20th of January is just process. There's really no way to stop this process from moving forward. All this bullshit with people challenging it in the fucking house and saying, it doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere. It's still going to end up in the 20th with fucking Joe Biden being elected president. What the hell is he fucking talking about? Evidence, please. Evidence.
As an example, I think in Detroit, and I think there's a good section of your state, actually, which we're not sure, so we're not going to report it yet. But in Detroit, we had 139% of the people voted.
No state in the whole of America has had more than 57 or 60% of their eligible voters vote. No state in America. It's just impossible. It's just absolutely no state in America has had more than 50, 70, 60% of the people eligible to vote. So this 120% of people eligible to vote voted. It's just ridiculous. No state has shown that in any of the statistical information they've collected. I don't know where they got this. Probably from that crazy woman Powell or whatever her name is, or Julie Rudiani or whatever his fucking name is.
That's not too good. In Pennsylvania, they had well over 200,000 more votes than they had people voting.
No, they didn't.
And that doesn't play too well. And the legislature there which is Republican, is extremely activist and angry. But there were other things also that were almost.
So you've got an activist, angry Republican fucking state putting fake ballots in to put you at, but you're the Republican president and Republicans are trying to stuff the ballot box to get rid of you. What does that say about you?
almost as bad as that, but they had, as an example, in Michigan, a tremendous number of dead people that voted. I think it was.
There hasn't been a tremendous number of dead people vote in any state. There's been no evidence to prove that. They've went over and over and over in multiple states. Doesn't exist. It's something he's just pulling out his crazy head.
I think, Mark, it was 18,000, some unbelievably high number, much higher than yours. You were in the 4,000 to 5,000 category, and that was checked out laboriously by.
If it's laboriously checked, why doesn't he have numbers in front of him and evidence that he can provide? Why is he saying 18,000 or some astronomical number? It was an amazing number. I mean, why doesn't he know? If he's had people meticulously check it out, why doesn't he have stated figures in front of him that he can claim are fraudulent and take it to a court?
Going through by going through the obituary columns in the newspaper.
Yeah, by going through the obituary columns in the newspaper, you're going to find what people die, what people of the same name, how many fucking John Smiths or Paul fucking Bunyans is around the world, you know what I mean? Come on. What the fuck is he on about?
So, I guess with all of it being said, Brad, it's the bottom line. And provisional ballots, again, you know, you'll have to tell me about the provisional ballots, but we have a lot of people.
Provisional ballots, that's what I'm saying. If you turn up and it says that you already voted, you can fill in a provisional ballot and contest it. If you turn up and your address isn't on the register and you're unregistered, you can put in a provisional ballot. You can't vote. They will not let you vote if your address and name is not on the register. You're unregistered. You can't vote. I want to put in a provisional because I am registered. I should be. I've probably kicked off the register whenever queered with dead people and they mistook my name for someone else. That happens. So you put provisional vote in, you come and prove it's you, you get your vote counted. He's fucking dead. He's a president of America. He doesn't understand how fucking the election works.
People that were complaining that they weren't able to vote because they were already voted for. And these are great people. And, you know, they were shell-shocked. I don't know if you call that provisional ballots. In some states, we had a lot of provisional ballot situations where people were given a provisional ballot because when they walked in on November 3rd, they were already voted for. So that's it. I mean, we have many, many times the number of votes necessary to win the state, and we won the state, and we won it very substantially and easily, and we have much of this.
If he won the state and he won it easily, he would be the president-elect. Not just the president, he would be the president-elect and be re-inaugurated in 20 fucking of January. He obviously didn't win easily because he's fucking struggling now to fucking make up some excuse why he won.
This is a very, you know, they're certified far more.
No, you're not certified as a winner. Biden is certified as the president-elect. He's the winner. You're not certified anywhere.
Certified than we need, but we're getting additional numbers certified too. And
no, you're not getting any numbers certified, mate. The counting is over. It's done. Where are you getting all these new votes that you're talking about? Where are you certifying any new votes? It's fucking illegal. The fucking count is... The election's over, the count's been done, it's been certified. And it's just the fucking House and Senate to accept it, and then the inauguration happens. This is just a administrative fucking process. This has nothing to do with the election anymore. It's an administrative process to certify that, no, yeah, the country agrees, and you're just an uptight fucking old man who fucking can't accept you got defeated.
We're getting pictures of drop boxes being delivered, and delivered late.
No, you're not. If you had that, you would be, you know, putting it into the fucking courts and fucking contesting things. You've had 60 fucking challenges in court. Every one of them get fucking tossed out.
And delivered 3 days later in some cases. Plus, we have many affidavits to that effect.
Prove it. Provide the affidavits. Provide the fucking evidence. Provide the photographs and videos, and let's see where we go.
So, Mr. President, if I might be able to jump in, and I'll give Brad a chance to Mr. Secretary,
I think this is one of the president's lawyers.
obviously there are allegations where we believe that not every vote or fair vote and legal vote was counted, and that's at odds with the representation.
But that's not what the president's saying. The president's saying that not only were some of my votes not counted, but lots of fake votes were fucking counted. I don't hear the lawyer talking about anything to do with fraud or fake votes.
From the Secretary of State's office, what I'm hopeful for is there some way that we can find some kind of an agreement to look at this a little bit more fully.
It's been looked at. It's been looked at fully. You've had fucking 3 counts, 2 fucking recounts and a fucking hand ballot count. That's it. I mean, you've went through the process. You've out fucking used your fucking legal fucking challenges, and you've provided no fucking evidence in any fucking realm that you've been in any court. What the hell is this guy talking about? Apart from fucking trying to style on fucking Trump's payroll until fucking he's out of the office. He's just trying to keep himself on the payroll for another month. He's probably earning like fucking 10,000 a day or something like that. He just wants to make that fucking extra 200,000 in the next month, you know.
The president mentioned Fulton County, but in some of these areas where there seems to be a difference of where the facts seem to lead. And so, Mr. Secretary, I was hopeful that, in a spirit of cooperation and compromise, there's something that we can at least have a discussion to look at some of these allegations to find a path forward that's less litigious.
No, it is litigious. You have to fucking go to court. You can't come to an agreement with a fucking governor of a state and get him to change the fucking election. There's no path to that exists. So I don't even know what the lawyer's asking for here.
Well, I've listened to what the president has just said. President Trump, we've had several lawsuits, and we've had to respond in court to the lawsuits and the contentions. We don't agree that you have one. I didn't agree about the 200,000 number that you mentioned, and I could go through that point by point. What we have done is we gave our state senate about 1.5 hours of our time going through the election issue by issue, and then on the state house, the government affairs committee, we gave them about 2.5 hours of our time, going back point by point on all the issues of contention. And then just a few days ago, we met with our U.S. congressman, Republican congressman, and we gave them about 2 hours of our time talking about this past election. Going back, primarily what you've talked about here, focused in on primarily, I believe, is the absentee ballot process. I don't believe that you're really questioning the Dominion machines, because we did a hand retally, a 100% retally of all the ballots, and compared that to what the machine said, and it came up with virtually the same result. Then we did the recount, and we got virtually the same result. So I guess we could probably take that off the table. I don't think there's an issue about that. I think what you were saying...
Yeah, there's no issue with that, because they did a fucking hand count of every single paper ballot, and it matches exactly what the fucking machine said. So if someone fucking had something swapping on the machine, then the tally would have come up different. If you'd like, 1 million votes through a machine, and it said there's a 1,000,001 for fucking Biden and 100,000 for well, that's 1.11 fucking million. No, you. Because the thing is, you type in the machine, and you get a printout, and you read your printout, and see that it says, I voted for Trump. It says Trump, then you go and you hand your ballot in. They couldn't make new ones, right? You can't just make new ones up because you know how many people went through the machine.
Not that there's not an issue, but because we have a big issue with Dominion and other states, and perhaps in yours, but we haven't felt we needed to go there, and just to maybe put a little different spin on what Mark is saying, Mark Meadows. Yeah, we'd like to go further, but we don't really need to. We have all the votes we need. We won the state. If you took, these are the most minimal numbers, the numbers that I gave you. Those are numbers that are certified, your absentee.
No, these numbers are not certified. Nobody's certified any of these numbers that you talk about, the 4,000 here, the 8,000 there, the 18,000, the 200,000 fake vote, the absentee. Nobody's certified any of these things. If they had certified them, you could have went into court law and says, look, we've got fucking tallies and certification that these votes were fucking fraudulent. You don't have any of that. All we're hearing is from your mouth, you lying piece of shit.
Ballots sent to vacant addresses, your out-of-state voters, 4,925. When you add them up, it's many times the 11,000.
It's already been counted. We're not adding your numbers into it because these are numbers made up by you and your sycophants who fucking parade about you all licking your ass. There's no evidence for any of this happening.
779 number. So we could go through, we have not gone through your Dominion, so we can't give them blessing. I mean, in other states, we think we found tremendous corruption with Dominion machines, but we'll have...
No, you've not found any corruption in any Dominion machines. They've been checked all over the states, around the whole fucking America, and there's no evidence anywhere of Dominion machines doing anything like fucking deleting or swapping fucking names. None. Anywhere in any fucking state.
Have to see, but we only lost the state by 11 by that number, 11,000 votes, and 770.
Is this guy drunk? I know they say that Trump doesn't drink. What is it? Is he fucking smoking dope? Is he fucking eating cannabis candy? Is what is wrong with magic mushrooms? Is he fucking whiffing? Sniffing glue? I mean, what the fuck is he doing, man, that he's fucking so fucking retarded? Or is it just old age? Is he just like, the fucking arteries in his brain are hardening or something,
29. So, with that being said, with just what we have, and...
You don't have anything. You've got no evidence. Saying you believe something doesn't make it so.
With just what we have, we're giving you minimal numbers. We're doing the most conservative numbers possible. We're many times above the margin. And so we don't really have to, Mark, I don't think we have to go through machines because what's the difference between...
Who's the guy saying right, backing them up? Look, we don't feel we need to provide any evidence because we think the numbers are astoundingly on our favour. Yeah, well, give us fucking evidence of it. One piece of fucking evidence.
Between winning the election by two votes and winning it by 500,000 votes.
Yeah, but you didn't win it by any votes. You lost it by 8 million. If you want to change the fucking the tally, then give us some fucking evidence for that. We can't just believe you because you want to win. It's like, I beat you at a race and then you start to, I beat him, didn't I? You know what I mean? And I'm like, no, I came in first. No, I came in. I've just seen it. No. We can take a photograph of me finishing and you behind me, you know what I mean? I can provide it. No. It doesn't matter what you say afterwards, and that's what's happening. There's a photograph of Biden winning, and now you try to claim it's all fake news, and everybody knows that I won. No, they don't. Provide fucking evidence.
I think we probably did win it by 500,000. One of the things that happened, Brad, is we have other people coming in now from Alabama and from South Carolina and from other states, and they're saying it's impossible for you to have lost Georgia.
Wait. What the fuck does it matter about people in Alabama and Tennessee and fucking Texas saying what happened in Georgia? How do you think they would feel if Georgia and fucking New York and California started to say what happened in fucking Texas? They would be fucking outraged at people sticking their nose in it. So what the fuck are you on about? What kind of fucking president are you? Don't you understand how the states work? I'm not even an American. I fucking understand that shit.
We won, in Alabama we set a record, got the highest vote ever.
Don't care what happened in Alabama. What matters is Michigan, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. They're the contested fucking states, mate. Right? They're the ones you thought you had a good chance of winning, you didn't get, right? And apparently that's the only ones you want to take to court. You're not taking fucking Texas to court, are you?
In Georgia, we set a record with a massive amount of votes, and
yeah, and Biden set a fucking bigger record than you in Georgia. So fuck up, or provide evidence that there's something wrong.
They say it's not possible to have.
It's obviously possible because it happened. If you want to prove it didn't fucking happen, provide fucking evidence.
Lost Georgia, and I could tell you by our rallies. I could tell you by the rally I'm having on Monday night.
Well, you know what? Fox News says you didn't win it, so I'll fucking cap your rally with the Fox News. You know what I mean?
Place they already have lines of people standing out front waiting. It's just not possible to have lost Georgia. It's not possible. When I heard it was close, I said, "There's no way." But they dropped a lot of votes in there late at night. You know that, Brett. And that's what we are working on very, very stringently. But regardless of those votes, with all of it being said, we lost by essentially 11,000 votes, and we have many more votes already calculated and certified too. So I just don't know,
How could you be counting and certifying votes that... What, you were there in Georgia counting votes, were you? Certifying them? Because that's your job. You're the president, you're running for office, you're meant to stay away. That would be fucking fraud for you to be in the counting place, fucking telling people how many votes came in.
Mark, I don't know what's the purpose. I won't give Dominion a pass because we found too many bad things, but...
Name one of the bad things that you found about Dominion and provide evidence for it in court.
We don't need Dominion or anything else.
Okay, so we found all these bad things about Dominion, but we don't need them. What the fuck? This guy just keeps talking shite over and over, you know what I mean? It's like, what the hell?
We have won this election in Georgia
No, you lost the election in Georgia. That's why you're fucking complaining. If you won it, you wouldn't be here fucking talking about it.
And all of this. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, Brad. Having a correct... the people of Georgia are...
Can you spit it out? What is it you're trying to say? You know what I mean? What is wrong with this man?
Are angry. And these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even.
It doesn't matter if the people in Georgia are angry. It doesn't matter what numbers you're going to pull on Monday night. You know what I mean? The election's done and dusted, mate. What the hell? There's nothing you can do between now and the 20th of fucking January.
And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry. And there's nothing wrong with saying that, that you've recalculated, because...
There's no recalculation. It's done already. The states have already certified the numbers, and now it's gone to the House and the Senate. That's the next step. The states are finished. They can't recalculate and change the numbers. The numbers have been handed in, certified. You understand, Mr. President? It's been done.
The 2,236 and absentee ballots, they're all exact numbers that were done by accounting firms, law firms, etc.
Accounting firms and law firms have got nothing to do with the electoral process. He's the President of the United States, and he doesn't understand the fucking presidential election. and how it's run and who counts the fucking votes. He thinks accountants and lawyers count them. He thinks rally numbers are important. Really?
And even if you cut them in half, and cut them in half again, it's more votes than we need.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong. We talked to the congressmen, and they were surprised, but they, I guess there was a person named Mr. Raynard that came to these meetings and presented data. And he said that there was dead people, I believe it was upward of 5,000. The actual number were two. Two people that were dead that voted. And so that's wrong. That was two.
Well, Cleta, how do you
It was two, and both of them voted for Trump.
respond to that? I mean, you tell me.
What I will say, Mr. Secretary, one of the things that we have requested, and we did, what we said was, and if you look at if you read our petition, it said that we took the names and birth years, and we had certain information.
I think that's another one of his lawyers.
Available to us. We have asked from your office for records that only you have. And so we said there's a universe of...
Oh no, this is one of the Georgia State lawyers, and you'll hear Trump later on when she starts to speak again. He'll say, "We don't really hear for you," because it's like a woman, especially when they speak back to him. He fucking hates it.
People who have the same name and same birth year and died, but we don't have the records that you have. And one of the things that we have been suggesting, formally and informally, for weeks now, is...
Give us the evidence and we'll fucking compare it to a fucking database, and we'll tell you whether these people are actually dead or not, or whether it's a mistake.
To try is for you to make available to us the records that would be necessary to confirm...
But Cleta, even before you do that... Cleta, even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too.
So give them the fucking numbers, give them the fucking data you've got that proves that dead people fucking voted, and then they can fucking, say, yeah, you're right, and fucking kick out a lot of votes. You can't just tell them, we found them, and then you better go and look for them. If you've got the fucking evidence, give it to them so that they can fucking check. But he doesn't have any of that evidence. He doesn't have 8,000 people who fucking voted when they were dead in one state and 4,000 in another state. It's all just shite. He just says it and he wants them to go and fucking just date for him. Just pretend that they found dead people voting. He doesn't have any evidence of dead people voting. Otherwise, they would have fucking brought it into court.
But is that we're so far ahead. We're so far ahead of these numbers. Even the phony ballots of Ruby Freeman, known scammer. You know the internet. You know what was.
I know he's going on about Ruby the scammer and no evidence, just fucking blackballing somebody. I don't know what he's going on about. I haven't heard anything about this. It's probably only on right wing fucking podcasts and shit. You know what I mean?
Trending on the internet. Where's Ruby? Because they thought she'd be in jail. Where's Ruby? It's crazy. It's crazy. That was the minimum number is 18,000 for Ruby, but they.
And that's the only thing he knows about. Where's Ruby and 18,000? He doesn't know anything about it because it's a fucking conspiracy fucking thing on the right wing, and he just read the bits that applied to him. 18,000 votes and the bird's name Ruby, and that she's a forester. He doesn't. Nobody has talked about this on the real media because not even in Fox News, because it's not a fucking thing.
I think it's probably about 56,000, but the minimum number is 18.
8 to 18,000, 56,000 probably. Can't even settle on a fucking verifiable number. Just throws out there hundreds of different numbers, and it's like, so what is it then? What is wrong with this guy's fucking heat, man?
1,000 on the Ruby Freeman night where she ran back in there when everybody was gone and stuffed. She stuffed the ballot boxes. Let's face it, Brad. I mean,
Can we have some evidence of that? Is there some video of her stuffing ballot boxes? That would be good. That would be good evidence to take to court, Mr. Trump.
They did it in slow motion replay, magnified, right?
Yeah. Magnified in slow motion, doesn't show me anything, doesn't show me her, doesn't show me the room. All it shows me is the ballots in a box. And they could fucking make that shit up.
She stuffed the ballot boxes. They were stuffed like nobody's ever seen them stuffed before. So there's a term for it when it's a machine instead of a ballot box. But she stuffed the machine. She stuffed the ballot. Each ballot went 3 times. They were showing, here's ballot number 1. Here it is a second time, third time, next ballot. I mean, look, Brett, we have a new tape that we're going to release. It's devastating. And by the way, that one event is much more than the 11,000 votes that we're talking about. It's, that one event was a disaster.
So they've got another video they're going to be putting out on Monday. I'm sure it's going to be devastating. Because everything they said that was devastating, tornado, hurricanes, tidal waves, nothing. The judges looked in and said, you've got no fucking case here.
It's just, but it was something that it can't be disputed. And again, we have a version that you have.
It can't be disputed. In order for something to be indisputable, it needs to be very rigorously backed up with evidence. I haven't seen a single piece of evidence from the Trump campaign or any of the 60 fucking court cases.
I haven't seen, but it's magnified. It's magnified, and you can see everything. And she put, for some reason, they put it in 3 times each ballot, and I don't know why, but why? I don't know why 3 times. Why not 5 times? Right?
You can see everything. I do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You're talking about the State Farm video.
Can you see anything?
And I think it's extremely unfortunate.
Can you see
that
anything?
Rudy Giuliani or his people.
You can't see anything, can you?
That video and took it out of
So
context.
the
next day we brought in WSTV
something gets too close, suddenly you'll lose all
see the full
perspective.
run of tape. And what you'll see, the events that transpired are nowhere near what was projected by,
But where were the poll watchers, Brad? There were no poll watchers there. There
have been poll watchers in every fucking counting place. They've already been into court and dealt with this. There was nobody there, and then when the judge says, I'm asking you as a member of the court to tell me was there Republican vote watchers in there? Yes, there was. You can't lie to a court judge when he asks you a direct question like that. 60 fucking failed attempts at taking this shit to court. No evidence. And he's still going on about it.
were no Democrats or Republicans. There was no security there. It was late in the evening.
There was security there. It was late in the evening. It was early in the morning. Which was it?
Early in the morning, and there was nobody else in the room. Where were the poll watchers? And why did they say a water main broke, which they did, and which is reported in the newspapers? They said they left, they ran out because of a water main break, and there was no water main. There was nothing. There was no break. There was no water main break. But if you take out everything, where were the Republican poll watchers? Even where were the Democrat poll watchers? Because there were none. And then you say, well, they left their station. You know, if you look at the tape, and this was reviewed by professional police and detectives and.
Yeah, well, police and detectives have got nothing to do. It should have been reviewed by the fucking electoral fucking, was it the FECC or some fucking thing? FEC? The Federal Electoral fucking, board or something, electoral council. It should have been reviewed by them, not by police and fucking detectives and fucking, right-wing bloggers. It should have went to the right people, Mr. Trump.
And other people. When they left in a rush, everybody left in a rush because of the water main, but...
Well, I don't remember seeing any of that. I do remember hearing that some people stopped to count for about an hour or 2 hours because they had a burst pipe. That might have meant that the toilets were flooded, and because there was no use of the toilets, they had to stop counting because you can't have people in a building where they can't use the fucking toilets. until it was fixed, and then they came back and started counting. It was about a 2-hour break. He's saying it was fucking a broken water. I don't remember any broken water main. That was a fake fucking news thing. It was a burst pipe in a toilet. Because the lavatories were out of use, they couldn't work. You know, it's health and safety. You need your toilets. There are people in a building, that amount of people in a building. They couldn't fucking work. They stopped for 2 hours. The plumber came in and fixed it, and then they went back to work. That's the story that I remember from the county. I can't even remember. I don't even think it was Georgia. I think that was a different fucking state.
Everybody left in a rush. These people left their station. When they came back, they didn't go to their station. They went to the apron.
Yeah. Gave us some evidence for that. Have you got it on video? You know, I mean, the videos, 24-hour videos are running in those rooms. I watched some of it. Show us the empty room when people sneaked in and just walked in. I don't remember any of that being on camera. If it wasn't camera, you would have provided that evidence in court, Donald. Oh, Donald, you're such a liar.
Wrapped around the table, under which were thousands and thousands of ballots in a box that was not an official or a sealed box. And then they took those and they went back to a different station. So if they would have come back, they would have walked to their station and they would have continued to work. But they couldn't do even that because that's illegal because they had no Republican poll watchers. And remember, her reputation is devastating. She's known all over the internet, Brett. She's known all over. I'm telling you, where's Ruby?
Ruby? I thought it was Rosie. I thought, was it Rosie? No, it was Ruby. Ruby Tuesday? I don't know. I have got no idea what this crazy person's talking about.
It was one of the hot items on the Ruby. They knew her. Where's Ruby? So, Brad, you know, there can be no justification for that. And I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But that was, and Brad, why did they put the votes in 3 times? You know, they put them in 3 times.
There's no evidence to put any votes in 3 times.
Mr. President, they did not put that. We did an audit of that, and we proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times.
Well, where was everybody else at that late time in the morning? Where was everybody?
It doesn't matter. You've already brought up a point. He's told you that point is fucking fake, and then you're changing the fucking subject. You know, you're not something else. You just won't even fucking address the fucking answer you got.
Where were the Republicans? Where were the security guards?
Who fucking cares? They were there. You didn't fucking see them. Were you there? No. So how the fuck do you know they weren't there? Somebody told you. Do you believe that person? You're a fucking idiot.
Where were the people that were there just a little while before when everyone ran out of the room? How come we had no security in the room? Why did they run to the bottom of the table?
How do we know Andy ran anywhere, Mr. Trump? How do we know that there's no fucking police or security? How do we know Andy ran out the room and ran back in and pulled suitcases of fucking ballots out from under a table with a black cloth with some kind of symbol on it? Yeah. Sounds a bit like some kind of conspirators that hate fucking the Masons or something that are trying to put Masonry in here or something. That's been out there. The Masons fixed the fucking election. The Masons and fucking Guevaras and fucking the Chinese and the Cuban fucking... it's going to be it. Everybody fixed it for them. What the fuck?
Why did they run there and just open the skirt and rip out the votes? I mean, Brad, and they were sitting there, I think for 5 hours or something like that. The votes, but they just all happened to run back and go. You know, Brad.
Yeah, Mr. President, we'll send you the link from WSB that does.
I don't care about a link. I don't need it. I have a much.
Yeah, I don't want your stinking evidence. I don't need your stinking evidence. I've got people whisper in my ear telling me the truth. I don't need your stinking evidence. What's that, One Tom? Yeah, One Tom has told me, you know, so fuck you. I don't need your stinking evidence.
Brad, I have a much better link.
I will tell you, I've seen the tape, the full tape. So has Alex. We've watched it. And what we saw and what we've confirmed in the timing is that they made everybody leave. We have sworn affidavits saying that. and then they began to process ballots. And our estimate is that there were roughly 18,000 ballots. We don't know that. If you know that.
It was 18,000 ballots, but they used each one 3 times.
Well,
So
I
it's
don't know about that, but I
Yeah,
know
well,
that
I do
know.
because we had ours magnified out. So
But
each
we had
one
watched-
magnified out.
I've watched the entire thing.
Right. But you know, but nobody can make a case for that, Brett. Nobody. I mean, look, you'd have to be a child to think anything other than that. Just a child. I mean, you never Trump or U.S. attorney
how
there.
many ballots, Mr.
We
Secretary,
had
are you saying that were processed in?
We had GPI thoroughly investigate that.
This is Ryan Germany. We had our law enforcement officers talk to everyone who was there after that event came to light. The GBI was with them as well as FBI agents.
Well, there's no way they could. Then they're incompetent.
See what? You can't give any evidence. Well, if they didn't find out what I wanted them to find out, then, you know, they're lying. They're incompetent, they're liars, they're corrupt. You know what I mean? They shouldn't be that. So like, the most corrupt, incompetent fucking person on the fucking planet at the moment is probably Donald Trump.
They're either dishonest
what did
or
they find?
incompetent. Okay, there's only 2 answers: dishonesty or incompetence.
Or they're right and you're wrong. There's 3 answers, Mr. President.
There's just no way. Look, there's no way. And on the other thing I said too, there's no way. I mean, there's no way that these things could have been. You know, you have all these different people that voted, but they don't live in Georgia anymore. What was that number, Clay? That was a pretty good number too. Yeah.
Well, the number who had registered out of state after they moved from Georgia, and so they had a date when they moved from Georgia. They registered to vote out of state, and then it's like 4,500. I don't have that right in front of me.
And then they came back in and they voted.
and voted. Yeah.
No, that was a large number, though. It was in.
Yeah, but these are people who moved back into the state a year, 2 years ago, registered to vote back in their own state, and never signed themselves off of the electorate in another state. But they didn't vote in 2 states. They moved back to their own state and registered there, and then voted. And they just didn't contact their old, the state they moved to the first time, to tell them that, take me off the register, because you don't need to do that, especially if you're not going to ask for a ballot,
In the 20s. And, the point
We've
is.
been going through each of those as well, and those numbers that we got, that Ms. Mitchell was just saying, they're not accurate. Everyone we've been through are people that lived in Georgia, moved to a different state, but then moved back to Georgia legitimately. And in many cases...
Really? How many people do that? You mean they moved out and then they...
It doesn't fucking matter how many people do it. People fucking do it. And he doesn't believe they do it. He doesn't believe people move around America. What, he's moved from fucking New York to fucking Florida. Does he not think people do it? Who does that? Who moves from New York to Florida? What a fucking asshole.
They said, "Oh, the hell with it, I'll move back in." It doesn't sound like a very normal... You mean they moved out, and what, they missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? It's crazy.
Well, and they moved back in years ago. This was not like something just before the election. So there's something about that data that it's just not accurate.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that it is certified, and they moved out of Georgia, and they voted. It didn't say they moved back in, Clayton, did it?
No, but I mean, we're looking at the voter registry. Again, if you have additional records, we've been asking for that.
Yeah, we've been asking for you to provide us evidence so we can scrutinise and investigate it. And your team has refused to give us anything.
But you haven't shared any of that with us. You just keep saying you've
But
investigated
Clayton, a lot of it you
the
don't
allegations.
need to be shared. I mean, to be honest, they should share it. They should share it.
Yeah, you don't need to be shared. These are not the droids you're looking for. You know what I mean? Just go out and find my votes.
Because you want to get to an honest election. I won this election by hundreds of thousands of votes. There's no way I lost Georgia. There's no way. We won by hundreds of thousands of votes.
Provide us some fucking evidence and then we can prove that you won it by 100,000 votes. But we need the fucking evidence that you seem to say you've got, but you won't share with us.
I'm just going by small numbers. When you add them up, they're many times the 11,000. But I won that state by hundreds of thousands of votes. Now, do you think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton
Nope.
County? Because that's what the rumor is.
Nope. Rumors aren't evidence.
And also that Dominion took out machines.
Nope.
That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their
Nope. The machines are still in the States.
machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having
Well, but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of?
No, they haven't moved anything. Those machines are owned by the state. Dominion comes in to initiate them and make changes, software changes to change like the names and the software to make them work when they get set up for an election. But then they're putting storage, a state storage is owned by the state, not by Dominion. Dominion are just operators who come in and give you IT support when you start the machines up. That's all they're there for.
The machines and replace them with other parts.
No.
No,
You sure, Ryan?
Yes.
I'm sure, Mr. President.
And what about the
What about the flu injection? Can the flu injection cure COVID-19? Isn't that another question he asked? Couldn't we use the flu? No. Are you sure? We can't use the flu? Okay. Yeah. Fucking, you've got to fucking smack him over the head with a fucking mallet to get fucking take any information in the cunt.
the ballots, the shredding of the ballots? Have they been shredding ballots?
No, they've not been shredded.
The only investigation that we have into that, they have not been shredding any ballots. There was an issue in Cobb County where they were doing normal, office shredding, getting rid of old stuff, and we investigated that. But this is stuff from, past elections.
No, I don't know.
And that's what
it doesn't.
See, that's it knows what. Oh, right, so they were shredding. Yeah, offices build up shit over the years, and you only have to keep stuff for 2 years or so, man. And then you can get rid of it. And then people end up leaving it on the shelf, and then you have an election come out and go, you know what, we're going to need extra room to fucking store all this shit for 2 years. We're going to get rid of the stuff for 2 years. You take that shit out and fucking shred it, you know what I mean?
Didn't pass the smell test, because we hear they're shredding thousands and thousands of ballots. And now what they're saying, we're just cleaning up the office.
Yeah, evidence. Give us evidence, because there was, as they say, they investigated and they were given evidence of what was being shredded, and none of it was electoral votes from 2020. So, have you got any evidence that people did shred 2020 votes? If so, provide it.
I don't think that's plenty.
Mr. President, the problem you have with social media, people can say anything.
No, this isn't social media. This is Trump media.
Okay, this isn't social media, this is Trump media. What a fucking idiot, No, that's not my foot. It's my big toe. Oh my God.
It's not social media. It's really not. It's not social media. I don't care about social, but I couldn't care less. Social media is big tech. Big tech is on your side, I don't even know why you have a side, because you should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
Yeah. The thing is, what you're saying is, I don't know why you have a side. And they said, you're a Republican, you should be on my side, is what you're saying. So yeah, he does want him to have a side, yet he's saying, I don't know why you even have a side. It's just nonsensical fucking bullshit he speaks all the time.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have, not even close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes, and just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers. And these numbers can't be judged. Well, okay, so you send us into Cobb County for signature verification, right? You send us into Cobb County, which we didn't want to go into, and you said it would be open to the public and we could have so we had our experts there. They weren't allowed into the room. But we didn't want Cobb County. We wanted Fulton County, and you wouldn't give it to us. Now, why aren't we doing signature, and why?
What the hell is he saying about you gave us Cobb County, we wanted Fulton County, you wouldn't give it? What the hell is he fucking on about? Every county is allowed to have people in the room watching, observing. And every time they've went to court, the lawyers have had to admit that, yeah, people were, you know, observers, both Democrats and Republicans, and, you know, what do you call them, independents, were there in the room. So I don't know what he's on about.
Why can't it be open to the public, and why can't we have professionals do it instead of rank amateurs that will never find anything and don't want to find anything? They don't want to find, they don't want to find anything. Someday you'll tell me.
I don't understand what he's talking about by having professionals and not rank amateurs. Anybody can apply to be an observer. Anybody. You've just got to do it in advance. You know, a few months before an election, you fill in a form and apply to be, you know, an observer or even be a counter. You know what I mean? Anybody can do it. Anybody. MD in Britain can do it. MD in America can do it. You just got to apply in good time so that they can vet you and say whether they're going to take you or not. You know, I don't know what the fuck is all about professional people. What, paid by the Republicans or Democrats? I don't want anybody in there paid by a fucking, you know, a political party. I want them to be people who do the generosity of them want to see free and fair elections.
The reason why, because I don't understand your reasoning, but someday you'll tell me the reason why. But why don't you want to find?
We chose Cobb County.
Why don't you want to find? What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so why did you do Cobb County? We didn't even we requested Fulton County, not Cobb County.
Well, Mr. President, we did have our
Cobb
election
County.
contest.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
We chose Cobb County because that was the only county where there's been any evidence submitted that the signature verification was not properly done.
Well, no, but I told you, but we're not saying that. We are the aggrieved party. Fulton County, look, Stacy, in my opinion, Stacy is as dishonest as they come. She has outplayed you at every heart, at everything. She got you to sign a totally unconstitutional.
Who the fuck's Stacy? Who's Stacy?
Constitutional agreement, which is a disastrous agreement. You can't check signatures. You can't do that. I can't imagine.
The signatures are all checked when people go to fucking, you know, count the ballots. They're all checked against the fucking the historical fucking signature. I don't know what he's fucking on about here, man. Making shit up again.
You're allowed to do harvesting, I guess, in that agreement. That agreement is a disaster for this country. But she got you somehow to sign that thing, and she's outsmarted you at every step. And I hate to imagine what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday, but it's very scary to people, you know, where the ballots flow in out of nowhere. It's very scary to people. That consent decree is a disaster. It's a disaster. A very good lawyer who examined it said they've never seen anything like it. And
the harvesting is still illegal in the state of Georgia, and that settlement agreement did not change that.
Well, it's not a settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It even says consent decree on it, doesn't it?
No.
It uses the term consent decree.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't say settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It's a disaster.
It's a settlement agreement.
What's written on top of it?
Settlement agreement. I just told you.
Ryan?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was not entered by the court. It's not a court order.
No, it's called. But Ryan, it's called a consent decree. Is that right on the paper? Is that right?
No.
I don't believe so. But I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Whatever. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Look, here's the problem. We can go through signature verification, and we'll find hundreds of thousands.
No, you won't. You can go through signature verification. They've done it already, over and over. It's been done. And he still thinks there's something going on here. Every time you prove him lying, and he's like, we don't think so. They don't want to say, no, you're wrong, this, but they're like, no, I don't think so. You know, that's as close as they get saying no, you know. And he's like, oh, very well then, but I don't think you're right.
Of signatures, if you let us do it. And the only way you can do it, as you know, is to go to the past. But you didn't do that in Cobb County. You just looked at one page.
How do you know what they did in Cobb County when you don't know what they did in Cobb County? Because everything so far you says they done, these people turn and says, no, we didn't do that. So what the fuck do you know about what happened in Cobb County?
Compared to another. The only way you can do a signature verification is go from the one that signed it on November, whatever, recently, and compare it to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years.
That's how they check signatures. They have an electronic copy of the signature on file. And so they can call up on a screen and look at the fucking signature on the paper they're holding in their hands, signed this year, and they can compare it. And they can blow it up and look at the, using my phone, look at certain curls and joins and all that and say, yeah, that's the same person. It's a little different because people's signatures change over time. As you get older, your fucking handwriting gets a bit more fucking squiggly and scrawly. My mum can hardly fucking write. She used to have beautiful handwriting when she was fucking 20. She's fucking 86 and we can hardly fucking scroll her name. What a chicken fucking walked over the page. Right, so this fucking guy, man.
Years ago, or even one. And you'll find that you have many different signatures. But in Fulton, where they dumped ballots, you will find that you have many that aren't even signed, and you have many that are forgeries. Okay? You know that. You know that. You have no doubt about that. And you will be at 11,779 within minutes, because Fulton County is totally corrupt, and so is she totally corrupt. And they're going around playing you and laughing at you behind your back, Brad. Whether you know it or not, they're laughing at you. And you've taken a state that's a Republican state, and you've made it almost impossible for a Republican to win because of cheating, because they cheated like nobody's ever cheated before. And I don't care how long it takes me. We're going to have other states coming forward pretty good. But I won't. This is never given. We have.
What's up with the guy, man?
Some incredible talent. Said they've never seen anything. Now the problem is they need more time for the big numbers, but they are very substantial numbers. And I think you're going to find that they. By the way, a little information. I think you're going to find that they are shredding ballots because they have to get rid of the ballots because the ballots are unsigned. The ballots are corrupt. And they're brand new, and they don't have seals, and there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt. And you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them, because you know what they did and you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense.
The guy is crazy.
And you can't let that happen. That's a big risk to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard. And they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm notifying you.
Look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one.
Okay, so there he's just told them that him and that Ryan and his lawyer, this is bad for you. I'm just warning you that all this is going on, and you have let it happen. I'm the president, and I know you did it. And all I want is for you to find 11,780 votes.
One more that we have.
One more. Yeah.
Because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country. Because, there's just it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it. If it was a mistake, I don't know. A lot of people think it wasn't a mistake. It was much more criminal than that. But it's a big problem in Georgia, and it's not a problem that's going away. I mean, it's not a problem that's going away.
Yeah, this problem of not having an extra 12,000 votes from me is not going away. You know what I mean? He's fucking basically threatening this guy over the phone.
And we got to...
President, this is Ryan. We're looking into every one of those things that you mentioned.
Okay,
and our
that's
investigators,
good.
I know,
But if you find them, you got to say it, Ryan. Look, if they're... Let me ask you. Ryan, if they're destroying ballots...
Let me tell you what we are seeing.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
What we're seeing is not at all what you're describing.
Okay.
And these are investigators from our office. These are investigators from GBI, and they're looking and they're good, and that's not what they're seeing. And we'll keep looking. We'll keep looking at all these things.
Well, you better check on the ballots because they are shredding ballots, Ryan. I'm just telling you, Ryan. They're shredding ballots.
No, they're not,
And,
Mr. President.
You should look at that very carefully.
We've
That's
looked
so
at
illegal.
it. It's not a thing.
You know, you may not even believe it because it's so bad, but they're shredding ballots. Happened. I mean, I'll take on anybody you want with regard to Ruby Freeman and her lovely daughter, very lovely. Did you ever check who those votes were for?
We've looked into that situation that you described.
No, they were 100% for Biden.
No.
100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group.
No.
Why don't you want to find this, Ryan? What's wrong with you? I heard your lawyer is very difficult, actually, but I'm sure you're a good lawyer. You have a nice last name, but
Oh, he's got a nice
curious.
last name, so he's got to be a good guy. What the hell's going on?
Why do you keep fighting this thing? It just doesn't
No,
make sense.
he's not
We're
fighting
way
it.
over the 17,779, right? We're way over that number.
No, you're not.
And just if you took just Ruby Freeman, we're over that number by five or six times. When you multiply it out times 3, and every
hell is he
single
with-
ballot went to Biden.
No, it didn't.
And you didn't know that.
Right, this stuff has all been investigated, and there's nothing in what he's saying about Ruby Tuesday or whatever her name is, Ruby Freeman. There's nothing to do with fucking ballots being shredded. There's nothing to do with machines being taken apart or swapping names. Right? None of it's true. There's no dead people voting. They found 2 in all of fucking Georgia, and both of them voted for Trump. There's just nothing in anything that this guy fucking says, and he's got no evidence to fucking prove otherwise. And now he's threatening these people and the president, and it's going to go bad for you if you don't find 12,000 votes for me. It's like, what the hell? I just don't know.
Doesn't know. But he's making them with such. He did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. You know. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination.
And it's
We have
kicked
to
your
stand by
ass
our
out of
numbers.
court
We believe
every
our
fucking
numbers are
time,
right.
Mr. Trump.
Why do you say that, though? I don't know. I mean, sure, we can play this game with the courts, but why do you...
Wait. Do you remember when he was the guy who was going to go to court? He was like, oh, I'm taking this to court. We're going to win in the court. And now the courts have kicked him out. And he was like, why you want to play this way? Well, you can go to court, but why you want to go to court? Why are you making it all about court? No. It's like, yeah, you were the fucking guy that started it all. You and your Republican fucking, ass fucking lickers, It's like, what the fuck? No, they would never have went to court. They would never have had to go and defend their fucking numbers if you hadn't took it to court, Mr. fucking Trump, What the fuck?
First of all, they don't even assign us a judge. They don't even assign us...
Yeah, you did get judges. You got judges who permanently looked at it and says you've got no standing. Or they asked your lawyers in court, what evidence did you have to bring this? We'll do a preliminary and then we'll set a court date. Now, do you have any evidence? You don't have evidence. Well, there's no point setting a court date if you haven't got any evidence to fucking produce. You know what I mean? That's why you get kicked out of court. Fuck me.
As a judge. But why wouldn't you... Hey, Brad, why wouldn't you want to check out Ruby Freeman, and why wouldn't you want to say...
Why would he, when there's no evidence she's done anything wrong? How many women have claimed that this guy, President Trump, has molested them sexually, right? Now, why wouldn't we want to look into that and take him to court? Why wouldn't we want to do that? And yet we've never done it. Apparently he's immune when he's president, right? So what the fuck is he on about? Why wouldn't you want to go to court? There's no fucking evidence. It's just somebody saying. Somebody said. But when you get 11 or 20 or 33 fucking women saying you molested them, that's a lot fucking worse than just like some right-wing blogger saying Ruby Tuesday fucking fixed the election with Che Guevara and Chavez and fucking China. Really?
Hey, if in fact President Trump is right about that, then he wins the state of Georgia. Just that one incident alone.
If you're right about it, provide some fucking evidence, you idiot.
Without going through hundreds of thousands of drop ballots. You just say you stick by. I've been watching.
Just one bit of evidence, mate.
Watching you for, you don't care about anything. Your numbers are right, but your numbers aren't right. They're really wrong. And
evidence. That's it.
They're really wrong, Brad. And I know this phone call's going nowhere other than ultimately, look, ultimately I win, okay? Because
but, Mr. Secretary, Mr.
you guys are so wrong, and you've treated the population of Georgia so badly. Between you and your governor, who was down at 21, he was down 21 points, and like a schmuck, I endorsed him and he got elected. But I will tell you, he's a disaster.
Oh my God.
And he'll never. I can't imagine. The people are so angry in Georgia. I can't imagine he's ever getting elected again. I'll tell you that much right now. But why wouldn't you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? Because those numbers are so wrong.
Yeah, Dad bod. Trump is a crazy lunatic madman. I mean, this whole hour he's just been making claims, no evidence about it, stuttering, repeating himself over an hour. People are saying, people are this, people are that, and then threatening the people he's on a voice call with. Not threatening them out, I'm going to come in there and kill you, but threatening away, this is not going to go well for you. That you're not going to get out of this without fucking all being bad for you and your lawyer. And all I need for you today is to find 12,000 votes for me. You know what I mean? But if you don't, it's going to go bad for you. It's like, yeah, he's fucking, threatening him to fucking fix the election for him. But there's nothing can be done. The votes for the states have been certified. It's already gone to the House and Senate, the federal House and Senate, and that's just an administrative detail. All they've got to do is just stand up and say, yeah, that's the numbers, and accept it. There's no way for them to fucking stop the 20th of January coming up and Biden being elected. It's just never been done before. There's no way for them to stop it. This guy is just crazy.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. President, one of the things that we have been, Alex talked about this, we've talked about it, and I don't know whether the information has been conveyed to your office, but I think what the President's saying, what we've been trying to do is to say, look, the court is not acting on our petition. They haven't even assigned a judge. But the people of Georgia and the people of America have a right to know the answers. And you have data and records that we don't have access to.
Give us the records.
And you keep telling us and making public statements that you've investigated this and, nothing to see here. But we don't know about that. All we know is what you tell us. What I don't understand is why it wouldn't be in everyone's best interest to
share the evidence.
Try to get to the bottom, compare the numbers. If you say, because to try to be able to get to truth, and that because we don't have any way of confirming what you're telling us.
And it never will, because he doesn't have any evidence. It's all just bluster. And he wants them to do something by him just telling them to do it. He thinks he's a king or something. He doesn't realise there's still a rule of law, there's still no due process, and due process isn't what he says it is, it's what the judges in court say it is, and in order to get through to a judge in a court, you need evidence, and he's not willing to provide it because he doesn't have it. He's a fucking lunatic.
You tell us that you've had an investigation of the State Farm Arena. I don't have any report. I've never seen a report of investigation. I don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
I've been pretty
Doesn't
involved in
exist.
this. I don't know. And that's just one of like 25 categories. And it doesn't even, and as the president said, we haven't even gotten into the Dominion issue. That's not
There's
part
no
of our
Dominion
case.
issue.
It's not part of, we
That's
just
been
didn't
looked
feel
into
as
as
though
well.
we had
There's
any
nothing
way
there.
to be able to develop.
No, we do have a way, but I don't want to get into it
Exactly.
because we found a way in other states later. Excuse me.
Oh, we do have a way to get, but I don't want to get into it. I just want you to date for me without me providing any evidence. What the fuck is he on about? That doesn't happen.
But we don't need it because we're only down 11,000 votes, so we don't even.
Oh, so we don't even need to provide evidence. All we need is for you to find any 11,780 votes, and that gives me one more vote than Biden in your state, and I win. That's all I'm asking. It just gives the 11,780 votes. You know what I mean?
even need it.
Right.
I personally think they're corrupt as hell, but we don't need that because all we have to do, Clayton, is find 11,000 plus votes. So we don't need that. I'm not looking to shake up.
I don't need to bring any evidence to a court. I just need you to find me 11,780 votes, and that's it. That's what I'm telling you here on this phone call. Can't you hear me? This is the president talking. I just need 11,780 votes, and then I win. We don't care about it. I don't need to go to court. I don't need to show the evidence. You've just got to trust and believe me, and because you're Republicans, and just do as I tell you.
Up the whole world. We won Georgia easily. We won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But if you go by basic, simple numbers, we won it easily. Easily. So we're not giving Dominion a pass on the record. I will.
No, right, exactly.
But we just don't, we don't need Dominion because we have so many other votes that we don't need to prove it any more than we already have.
Mr. President,
Mike?
Cleta, this is Kurt Hilbert, if I might interject here for a moment. Ryan, I would like to suggest that just 4 categories that have already been mentioned by the president that have actually hard numbers of 24,149 votes that were counted illegally. That in and of itself is sufficient to change the result or place the outcome in doubt. We would like to just sit down with your office.
Yeah. Evidence? Can you provide evidence for these 24,911 votes?
And we can do it through purposes of compromise and settlement, just like this phone.
No, you can't do that. It's already been certified and certificated, and checked and rechecked and checked again, and then it's been certified and passed through. If you want to contest that now, you're going to have to get a court judge to hold proceedings over it and reverse that. The state can't do it. They've already passed it out of their hands.
Call just to deal with that limited category of votes. And if you are able to establish that our numbers are not accurate, then fine. However, we believe that they are accurate. We've had now 3 to 4 separate experts look at these numbers. These numbers are based upon the USPS.
And certified accountants looked at them.
Certified accountants. We also had a guitarist look at them, and a pop singer, a break dancer. We had a judge from fucking America's Got Talent look at it, and they all say, yeah, I'm right. So it's got to be right, isn't it?
Correct. And this is just based on USPS data and your own Secretary of State data. So that's what we would entreat and ask you to do, to sit down with us in a compromise and settlement.
Right, I'm sorry. The USPS doesn't count any votes. What information would they have that would overturn an election? And the Secretary of State, he doesn't count any votes. He depends on the people who are counting the votes to count the votes. You remember the people you were shouting, stop the count in one state and keep counting in another? They're the people that count, right? The people in those buildings being screamed at by your fucking crazy fucking followers, you know? Not the Secretary of State or the UPS, or fucking accountants, or fucking America's Got Talent judges, or bass guitarists, or fucking jugglers in the street. They've got nothing to do with counting fucking votes, right?
Proceeding, and actually go through the registered voter IDs and the registrations. And if you can convince us that 24,149 is inaccurate, then fine. But we tend to believe that is, obviously more than 11,007.
Why didn't you take any of them into court when you've got 60 court cases and you couldn't take those numbers into court and say these are fraudulent votes? Every fucking time you went in front of a judge, you says, we're not talking about fraud. But now you're arguing here about fraud. Take it to a judge.
179, that's sufficient to change the result entirely in and of itself. So what would you say to that?
No, he can't agree to meet with you and change the fucking electoral fucking count. You need to go to court and take your fucking evidence with you.
Mr. Germany.
Kurt, I'm happy to, I'll get with our lawyers and we'll set that up. That number is not accurate, and I think we can show you, for all the ones we've looked at, why it's not. And so if that would be helpful, I'm happy to get with our lawyers and set that up with you guys.
Well, let me ask you, Kurt. Kurt, you think that is an accurate number? That was based on the information given to you by the Secretary of State?
We don't give a shit, Trump, what you fucking say these numbers are. Doesn't matter if your mother told you it's fucking right, right? Or Jesus even, right? It doesn't fucking matter. You've got to prove that these fucking things are right.
It's department, right?
That is correct. That information is the minimum, most conservative data based upon the USPS data and the Secretary of State's office data that has been made publicly available. We do not have the internal numbers from the Secretary of State, yet we have asked for it 6 times. I've sent a letter over to Mr. Anulowitz.
We keep asking 60 times we've asked Trump, lawyers for evidence in court. 60. Not one piece of evidence.
Several times requesting this information, and it's been rebuffed every single time. So it stands to reason that if the information is not forthcoming, there's something to hide. That's the problem that we have.
Well, that's not the case. There are things that you guys are entitled to get, and there's things that under law we are not allowed.
Yeah, no, it's
to
a
get
key.
Well, you have to. Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results. Okay, you're not allowed to do that. And
It's not faulty election results. You're asking for access to fucking the electoral roll and verification of people who voted and why they voted. There's a reason that these things are not connected. So you can't be targeted by a corrupt, tyrannical government when they fucking want to go out and find out what parts of the populace didn't vote for them and fucking punish them for it. That's why you're not allowed to get that information. Fuck, what's wrong with this conceit, man?
that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow because you have a big election coming up. And because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president. Okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
Does he think he's talking to a 12-year-old? Oh, people are going to be upset, but you'll be very respected if you change your mind and do what I want you to do. What kind of fucking idiot is he, man? And what kind of fucking idiots work for this man and do what he fucking tells them?
And therefore, I think that it really is important that you meet tomorrow and work out on these numbers. Because I know, Brad, that if you think we're right, I think you're going to say, And I'm not looking to blame anybody. I'm just saying that, under new counts and under new views of the election results, we won the election. It's all, it's very simple. We won the election.
No, you didn't win the election. If you won the election, you would be getting inaugurated on the 20th of January. That's not happening. You lost the election.
As the governor of major states and the surrounding states said, there is no way you lost Georgia.
Again, it doesn't matter what the leaders in other fucking states say about another state. The fact is, states fucking laws. Each state fucking controls what's going on inside their state, and they don't give a fuck about what another state says. You think fucking Texas cares what fucking California or New York fucking thinks about them? No, they don't give a shit. So why should fucking Georgia care what the other states around about it fucking think about them? Do they listen to Georgia when the Georgia fucking say, oh, I think you should fucking do that? No, they fucking don't. What is wrong with this fucking conceit, man? He doesn't even understand what a fucking republic is.
Georgia politicians say there is no way you lost Georgia. Nobody, everyone knows I won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But I'll tell you, it's going to have a big impact on Tuesday if you guys don't get this thing straightened out fast.
Well, Mr. President, this is Mark. Let me just, it sounds like we've got two different sides agreeing that we can look at those areas, and I assume that we can do that within the next 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and get that reconciled so that we can look at the two claims and making sure that we get the access to the Secretary of State's data to either validate or invalidate the claims that have been made. Is that correct?
So that's not what I said. I'm happy to.
See, no, that's not what I said. We're not going to give you any information so you can check against your database. Our figures where we say we found all this fraud. We want you to give us access to your database so that we can check the numbers. You know what I mean? It's like, no, that's illegal. They cannot give you access to the fucking state register's roll where the fucking signatures are connected to who voted for Trump or Biden. It's illegal to do that. Don't you understand? Fuck me, man.
To sit down with, or have our lawyers sit down with Kurt and the lawyers on that side and explain to him, hey, here's, based on what we've looked at so far, here's how we know this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
So what you're saying, Ryan, hold on, let me make sure. So what you're saying is you really don't want to give access to the data. You just want to make another case on why the lawsuit is wrong?
I don't think we can give access to data that's protected by law. But we can sit down with them and say,
but
hey,
you're allowed to have a phony election? You're allowed to have a phony election, right?
No, sir.
When are you going to do the signature counts on? When are you going to do signature verification on Fulton County, which you said you were going to do? And
it's been done. It was done when the fucking count was done.
Now all of a sudden you're not doing it.
Oh,
when are you doing that?
We are going to do that. We've announced.
To get to this issue of the personal information and privacy issue, is it possible that the Secretary of State could deputize the lawyers for the president so that we
No, that's not possible.
could access that information, that private information, without you having any kind of violation?
No, it's not possible.
Well, I don't want to know who it is. You guys can do it very confidentially. You can sign a confidentiality agreement. That's okay. I don't need to know names.
All right,
but we got the information on this stuff that we're talking about. We got all that information from the Secretary of State.
Yeah, so let me recommend, Ryan, if you and Kurt will get together, when we get off of this phone call, if you could get together and work out a plan to address some of what we've got with your attorneys, where we can actually look at the data. For example, Mr. Secretary, I can tell you said there was only 2 dead people that would vote. I can promise you there are more than that, and that may be what your investigation shows, but I can promise you there are more than that. But at the same time, I think it's important that we go ahead and move expeditiously to try to do this and resolve it as quickly as we possibly can. And if that's the good next step, hopefully we can
If I didn't run Brian Wood the state,
Right.
they hate the governor. We
Right.
need less
I'm
than
done.
2,000
I'm done, mate,
votes.
man. I'm done, mate. Right. They're just going over and over the same thing. They want to, well, we can prove, we'll give you the fucking data, let us check it. No, you've got to meet with us and then we'll fucking argue. No, we're not going to meet you face to face. We're not going to get you information. We're not going to come in to be badgered and bullied. Right, fucking, what an asshole. Anyway, thanks very much, guys, for tuning in and watching my wee video. And for you that watch it later, I hope you find it if not entertaining, I hope you find it informative of how fucking retarded your president is and the fucking lawyers that work for him. But anyway, Sanjivar, and I'm going to go to bed. It's 5:10 in the morning here, 10:05 a.m. I'm fucking knackered. I've been up all night drinking and watching shit like this. Anyway, Sanjivar, guys, and I'll catch you anon.